If you have a sister, you know how important it is to make sure she's dating a good man. And my sister's the best. She deserves nothing but the best in a man. So that's why we're going to check to see who can date my sister from the Bible. I hate to start off with such a disappointing one. Let's kick it off with Zaccaeus. Are you telling me my sister is going to date a 5'2" tax collector? The last thing I want is my sister being with a man that can't protect her, that's going to act like the IRS at our family dinners. You know, we already have enough problem with taxes. We already pay too much of our taxes to the government. And now we want to bring Zaccaeus into our life. And what happens? What happens if a robber comes into the house of Zaccaeus and my sister in the evening? What's he going to do? Is he going to ask them about their tax refund? I don't know what we can do with Zaccaeus here. And yeah, unfortunately, you know, he's probably a good man. He probably is, you know, financially stable. He's probably good in some ways. But, you know, for me personally, for my sister, I'm not going to let this slide. We're going to give a no to Zaccaeus. Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know who threw Zaccaeus in there. I'm going to have to talk to my editor. But finally, someone I would love to talk about is Daniel. Yes, I would let Daniel date my sister. Absolutely. This man was extremely intelligent. I mean, he could interpret dreams. He worked his way up for the kings. And also, too, you know, knowing that she's going to be with a smart man and a man that can defeat death, possible death in multiple scenarios, such as being thrown in the fire. He's surrounded by angels and surrounded by angels when he's in the pit of lions. So I know my sister's going to be safe with Daniel. My sister's going to be good with Daniel. She's with a good man. And also, too, I mean, this is pretty undeniable. I think if you say no to Daniel, your standards are way too high. Daniel is the man, and we're going to say yes for Daniel. All right, next up, we have a pretty mysterious man. We're going to be talking about Enoch. Here's the thing. I would love to hang out with Enoch. I would love to see what was going on in his life, what he was dealing with in his time. And most importantly, I want to ask him, what was the process of God taking you up and you avoiding death? I mean, him and Elijah were the only ones to avoid death, to my knowledge, which is pretty spectacular. We don't know much about Enoch. We have, you know, the book of Enoch, but, you know, that's not really accepted in the Bible. So, yeah, I don't know. But to date my sister, I'm going to have to go with no. And I'm going to tell you why. Enoch can't date my sister because he's not going to be there for her. I mean, one day, you know, it's like the man who said he's getting milk and he doesn't come back. It's just way cooler, right? He's just going up to heaven and he's completely saved. And I totally respect it. I actually am very curious about it. I hope one day I can talk to Enoch about it. But for my sister's sake, you know, we need a man that's going to be solid with her. So we're going to say no to Enoch. Now, for someone I haven't mentioned on my channel quite yet, let's talk about Thomas. Yeah, the thing is that we can't deal with Thomas at the family dinners. You know, we're gonna be sitting around at the table trying to enjoy our meal, and Thomas is gonna look at my sister like, "Do you still love me? Do you still love me?" I can't do it, man. He's gonna question everything. He's probably gonna, you know, be maybe that one guy who's a little over controlling, asking her where she was at night and checking her location all the time. And you know, doubting Thomas has a lack of trust. Do I really want my sister to deal with that? Do I want to deal with that as his brother-in-law? I don't. I don't want to deal with that. I mean, yeah, I just don't really see a good case for Thomas. And yeah, we're going to go with a big no for Thomas. Okay, this guy is pretty sweet. John the Baptist. Absolutely. And not only am I letting him date my sister, he's gonna be my brother-in-law, but we're gonna be hanging out all the time. I mean, he literally lives out in the wilderness, mysterious, Jesus' cousin, and he is the one who baptized Jesus himself. I mean, you know, you guys need to refer to my aura video, but this guy, and also too, watch out for part 2. John the Baptist will be mentioned, so stay tuned. But yes, this guy's aura is impeccable. He has impeccable aura. The only thing I would be slightly concerned about is he was known to only eat locusts and honey, which is kind of a crazy combo. The honey I get, locusts, I mean, you can dress up a locust, you can throw it on the grill and throw some seasoning on it, throw some Lowry's on it. It might be okay. But, that's fine. It's like when you're with the boys, right? With the boys, you can eat whatever. My homie and I, we just ate, pizza and rice and a brat today for dinner. And that was wonderful. But the ladies, they don't love that. So, he takes her out on a date. The eats might get a little bit weird, but I think that's something that she could definitely put up with for John the Baptist. 100% yes. All right, we're going on a generational run here after Zaccaeus, thankfully. Thankfully, we're done with him. But now it's time for this generational run. Joseph from the Old Testament. I mean, need I say more? This guy has, I think top 3 come-up story in the Bible. Top 3 for sure. Overcame the odds from forced slavery into being the co-pharaoh of Egypt. Yes, absolutely. And, also one thing too that's great to bring up is that he was at one point, he was in the perfect situation to commit, he wasn't, he wouldn't have committed adultery because he didn't have a wife, but someone's wife, just gave it out to him and he denied it. And so I think that my sister, I know she's secure with him. I know she's going to be good, financially speaking. He's going to have her covered. And, the thing is he forgave his own brothers for bringing him into slavery. He's going to forgive her for any little thing that she does wrong. The one thing I am concerned about, knowing her, I hope she doesn't get too bougie. I hope she doesn't start hanging out with Joseph and act like she's all that. But I think if she can overcome that, then absolutely yes to Joseph. This one is a little bit conflicting to me. Solomon. Here's the thing. I feel like we got to separate Solomon into 2 parts. We're going to talk about early life and late life Solomon. Early life Solomon, I mean, I would say borderline yes. I would say borderline yes. He was grinding. He was making Israel into a great nation. He definitely has like a way with words. I mean, if you've read the Psalms, if you've read the Song of Songs, he has a way with words. Here's the problem. We have the second later Solomon who had 700 wives and 300 concubines all in one area. That is absolutely ridiculous. I don't even think he would know my sister's first name. So I really think if Solomon was here today, he'd be extremely dangerous. Like when it comes to women, he'd be extremely dangerous. I mean, he's extremely romantic with the Song of Songs, like his way with words. One of the richest men or the richest men of all time. Yes, he would be a problem today, absolutely. And since we're looking at the long term, we're gonna have to say no to Solomon. It's different, right? It's just like Enoch, right? It's one of those situations where would I love to speak to Solomon? Would I love to pick his brains on some things? Absolutely. Would I let my sister near him? I can't do that. I just can't do that, man. We can't let our sisters near King Solomon, unfortunately. So we're going to go with a no. Okay, next we're looking at big man Samson. You hear girls say this all the time, like, oh, I can fix him. I could fix him. He's just a little bit broken, but I know I could fix him. I might have to give that exception to Samson. Samson only was seen in such a poor light because he was with such a horrible woman in Delilah. I think that with the right woman, Samson's a great husband. I mean, we all know physically you have nothing to worry about. His mental game is insane. He's going to protect her from everything, make sure that she is provided for. And he's a romantic man. He can be there for her, and she will, it'll keep going. I think the romance will be good between the two. And yeah, I think that if Delilah wasn't such a horrible woman, Samson wouldn't have tweaked. Samson wouldn't have tweaked so hard. The problem is, okay, yes, is he kind of impulsive? Sure. But, would I rather have that or, impulsive and deeply loving one woman and respecting her, Or would I rather have King Solomon with 700 wives and my sister is just totally forgotten about? I'd say we could fix Samson. I think that I would let my sister date Samson. Are you serious? The prodigal son. You guys got to be trolling me with this one. There's no shot. There's no shot my sister is going to be with a man who blows all of his money partying and just ghosts her for years on end. We can't do this, man. We can't do this. I can't, I already got Zaccaeus on my butt asking me about taxes, and now we want the prodigal son to ask his brother-in-law for a loan. No, we can't do that. And I know. I understand. It's a nice, happy, peaches and cream story at the end where he comes back and he's changed. Don't do that. Don't do that to my sister. Don't come back and change for my sister, though. Just be who you are. Be good from the start. Yeah, I know you guys were trolling me with the prodigal son one, but this is unbelievable. I think this is the worst candidate yet, second worst. But yeah, we're going to have to say no to the prodigal son. Time for my main man, Peter. Absolutely. I'm letting Peter date my sister, of course. The only thing is, I got to check in with my sister. I got to make sure she's looking on point, she's acting correct, and being a good woman to Peter. Because the one thing is, Peter might deny her in front of everybody, 3 times in a row. But if my sister, is being a good lady for Peter, and the relationship is going well, absolutely. I mean, I need someone, by my side, my family, who can really stick with me when times get hard. Stick with me, and not only that, but be down to protect, be down to defend, and Peter's going to do that for me. I think Peter's going to do that for me. Peter's going to do that for my sister and my family. It's a no-brainer. You know Peter's going to be there as long as my sister is acting correctly. So we're going to give a big yes to Peter. Let's take it way back to one of the first men we knew about on earth, Abel. Abel, man, I really like him. He's devoted. He's got a good person. You thought, no, we can't. We're not letting my sister date him. He was the first man to ever get caught, and it was by his own brother. His awareness is 0. So if his awareness is 0, how am I going to feel when he's with my sister in public? If something goes down, he doesn't stand a chance, and my sister's in harm. Yeah, Abel, I understand. I understand. Maybe it was a little surprising to be caught off guard by your own brother, but you should have known. You should have been aware of the situation, and he's the one closest to you, so this is something that you could have seen coming. Absolutely not. Absolutely, we're going to give a no to Abel. If you thought Enoch was mysterious, let's talk about Melchizedek. Now, this was way before. This guy was blessing Abraham. He was a high priest of God before the line of Levitical priests start, but he's also in the lineage of Jesus. Very confusing, very mysterious, and he had a lot of holy power back in the days. And yeah, I mean, you see, it would be very interesting. It would be very interesting to get to know him more. My only issue with this, if my sister was interested in Melchizedek, is he might not be fully human. We don't really know. He had a lot of power, and we don't have any background info on him. He might not be fully human, and we can't, if they have children, we can't run back the Nephilim. That's something, we're over that, we're past that. I'm not really down for round 2 of Nephilim. So it's the same with Enoch. I would love to talk to him and get to know him. It's the same with Solomon, but we can't run back Nephilim. So we're going to have to give a no to Melchizedek. Another disciple that, in my opinion, would be a great candidate is John. Here's the thing. When looking at all the disciples, you got, Peter. Peter's that guy that's going to protect. And you have, you got a snake, you got Judas. And you got Matthew and Mark, who, their personalities don't really shine as much in the Gospels. But I think John would be a great fit. I mean, this guy was extremely artistic. He had a way with words. He had a very soft heart. And he had all these things, and it didn't come with the consequences as it does with Solomon, where he has all these wives, and he has all this money, and he's just overtaken by, the riches of the world. I think John would be a wonderful candidate. And, he also has extreme, insight with his revelations. I would give a yes to John. I would say absolutely yes to John. This one I'm also extremely torn on, Jacob. And I'll tell you why I'm so torn. On one hand, you have the Jacob who worked 14 years, to earn his wife and is just so dedicated and loving to this woman. And on the other hand, you have the Jacob that wrestled with God himself and survived. Is that not one of the scariest things you've ever heard? This man wrestled with God and survived. And here's the thing. He had multiple wives. It's different. If I can't beat you in a fight, it might be okay. But if I can't beat you in a fight and I know that you don't always have the best intentions in mind, that's when I start getting a little nervous about the situation. The thing is, Jacob just got insane aura. He has insane lore, insane aura, and he does have that loving side to him. But he also did steal. He stole all of his brother's blessings as well. Is he going to do something like that to my sister? I'm going to have to say no to Jacob, unfortunately. I think that I would understand if you said yes to him, but just due to the fact that how scary his physical abilities are and his past of tricking his own family for the blessings, I'm going to have to say no because he might turn on me if we become family too. Thank you all so much for supporting me. Stick around to watch some of my other videos right here. And if you want to contact me, my email is in the description. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.